Bonjour Robert. Salut mademoiselle. Je m'appelle Didier. Comment t'appelles-tu? Belle? Mademoiselle Belle? Comment allez-vous? Ça va bien? Oh, ça va très bien. Moi? How do you think I feel? Or how would you feel if you got your heart ripped out? Put it on the ground, stomp on it, put gasoline on it, set it on fire, and let the wind take the ashes away to ride that last tidal wave. I had to wear shades to watch this review, so nobody could see my tears. God damn it, woman. You destroyed my soul. You really destroyed my soul. What do I think of your review? Of your review? The same thing that as our punk girl Lori Petty thinks of your review. That is what I think of your review of Point Break. Come on. So yes, it wasn't Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. It was the Brotherhood of Surfer Shorts. Come on. This movie is the shit, like somebody said in the chat. Come on, and Lori Petty made a great movie with no other than J-Lo. Poker House. By the way, why is this still wrapped? Oh, I think this belongs to this Burnett pile of other stuff. Yes, I put it right on this pile. But somebody who hasn't seen Speed or The Hidden, what can I expect? Nevertheless, happy birthday, Elizabeth. I will get over it, but it will take some time. Rob, live long and prosper. Still bummed out. The package doesn't move. What is it with this custom stuff? Perhaps they discovered the cocaine. Sorry. Other than that, live long and prosper.
Well, that Dieter. What a cut-up he is. You gotta love that guy.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dieter, for stomping on your heart and setting it on fire.
It's your fault, man.
But, I'm just going to say what I'm going to say.
That's all you can do. Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your sommelier of cinema, and your viceroy of verisimilitude, Robert Meyer Burnett, and I'm here with my lovely compatriot, whose birthday we're apparently still celebrating.
Hey, let's keep doing it.
And you are whom? Of entertainment.
Indeed.
We're a little cut off on the camera, but that's okay.
We are?
A little bit.
I
A little bit. The stream looks like it's all right, but hang on.
Oh, now it's green.
Well, we'll see. Well, we'll just keep talking. Hopefully, it's back. We'll hope it's back. You know, little stream element wackiness. So we are here. This is Elizabeth's whining about movies. What number? 61. 61.
It was 61.
We're still celebrating your birthday. Do you before we get into this, is there anything you want to say? I guess let's go to the different view, shall we, where people can see us. Wouldn't that be better? So here's the champagne we're drinking. It's a brute.
It's such a brute.
It's such a brute. Like I was on Friday night. Well, you can say, you can talk while I'm pouring this so it's not bubbling over.
We argued about an argument.
We argued about an argument, but that's what we do. That's why this show is unique on YouTube. Who argues about arguments on YouTube?
We do.
We do. We're still here. We're still having fun.
Yes, we
still love you. Well, let's drink to tonight's film. Director Richard Stanley's triumphant return to the director's chair after being gone for over 20 years. Richard Stanley directed the low-budget masterpieces, I think, Hardware and Dust Devil. And, of course, if you follow what happened to him on The Island of Dr. Moreau with Marlon Brando and Val Kilmer, a movie where he was actually fired and then he snuck back on the set and was playing a creature.
You're kidding?
No, there's a documentary about it. And Richard Stanley's been in director jail for over 20 years. Crazy story.
He snuck back onto
I
the
met
set?
him. I went and saw the documentary about him, and I met him at the silent movie theater. We saw the documentary. So that would be his movie, The Color Out of Space, based on The H.P. Lovecraft stories. Let's drink to Richard Stanley's, I think, triumphant return to the director's chair. 2019's Color Out of Space. In case you can't smell.
You could, but you'd get bubbles up your nose.
Yeah, this is delightful.
Ooh, very nice.
And this is the first champagne we've ever had on this show.
That's right.
This is also the newest movie we've had on this show.
Yeah, when did this come out?
2019.
Oh.
Very recent film.
Okay.
You know, and
Neither one of us had seen this.
we had not seen this, and I finally got it, and I wanted to get it, and I quite enjoyed it. I mean, H.P. Lovecraft has been very hit and miss when it comes to movies. Everything from, like, the Dunwich Horror, all the way up to, like, Reanimator and From Beyond. Those are all based on Lovecraft stories. This movie takes place outside of the fictional town of Arkham.
Yes.
Pardon me. Why am I... Not Arkham. Yeah, Arkham. Right?
I
Arkham.
don't remember the name of the town.
And here's the H.P. Lovecraft town. And one of the characters is wearing a Miskatonic University t-shirt
yeah,
at
I
one
kept
point.
trying to read it. I was like, what?
Miskatonic. That's from Lovecraft's work.
Oh.
And, you know, Lovecraft's work is very, he talks about the old gods, the old ones, the cosmic nature, the horror that you never really know what it is exactly. Of course, he's got his Cthulhu mythos. And this film's interesting because it touches on Cronenberg-esque body horror. It's kind of like Annihilation.
Yeah.
And then it deals with, like, a sliver of that cosmic horror falls to Earth in this movie.
Yes.
And brings some of that. So you can't really know what's
well, I feel like it started off as a more serious film and then became this weird 70s feeling body horror and weird Nicolas Cage acting.
Well, okay, well...
The third half was... the first half was really interesting and really, like, builds up this feeling of, like, oh my god, what's going on here? This is getting creepy.
It was really creepy.
But should we go through the plot?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, so, Elizabeth, what is the Color Out of Space about?
So, where does it start? Oh, it's a narration talking about the woods and...
The woods around Arkham?
Yeah. And it's very secluded. And then you cut to the girl, what was her name?
Livonia,
yeah. She is, she's like doing an incantation or...
Yeah, she's like in the woods doing some Wiccan...
Yeah, so she has like these rocks around her and she's got a compass.
But she's praying for her mother's cancer to go into remission.
She is. And yes... So she does her witch thing, and this guy is walking through the woods and happens upon her, and he's like, oh, what's this?
Right.
And so he's watching her, and he gets closer and closer, and she turns around and sees him, and she's like, what are you doing here? This is private property.
Turns out he's a water expert, and they're going to build a reservoir.
Yes. And so she's annoyed because he ruined her little incantation.
Her Ren Fair incantation thing, you know.
And so she gets up to go and leave. So she has a horse, and so she's getting on her horse, and he says something like, you know, was that...
Yeah, he knows the difference between Wiccan and something else.
Wiccan and Romanesque or something. And so she's like, oh, thinking, oh, yeah, okay, maybe this guy isn't so bad.
He knows what's up.
And then he notices, like, this pentagon tattoo on her foot. And, you know, she's all Wiccaned out.
She's Wiccan out.
And so she leaves, and she goes home.
Beautiful home. This movie was actually shot in Portugal.
I want that house.
I wonder if Candida has actually been where this movie was shot.
I want to live there.
It's great. In the woods, so it's a family. It's Nicolas Cage, Jolie Richardson, her mom and dad.
Yeah.
And then there's the older daughter, Livonia, and there's Jack. Let me get this right.
Jack is the younger
Jack
kid.
is the youngest one. And
then the middle child.
And Benny.
Benny. I don't know if Benny's older or in the middle.
Yeah, Benny seemed like he was in the middle. The girl's
Yeah.
Livonia's is it Livonia?
Yeah.
Well, it's Lavinia.
Lavinia,
not Livonia.
Yeah, I thought that
It's
sounded
Lavinia.
weird.
So it's a nice nuclear family, but their mother is sick.
She had cancer and she's recovering from cancer. And I guess he inherited this land from his parents,
Yeah,
his
his father.
who seemed to be like a very like strict, mean guy. And so they're on this beautiful property in the middle of the woods, far away from any town.
Beautiful, far away. They're 12 miles away from anything. And they're raising alpacas, 4 alpacas.
Yes, I was super excited about that.
Because we have a thing for alpacas.
Yeah. And one of them did look like Gilbert.
Oh, yeah, there's one did look like Gilbert.
The one that got milked.
Yeah, I didn't know you could milk alpacas.
I didn't either. I don't know if that's true. I meant to look it up.
Well, it was in the movie. It must be true.
Oh, yeah. Like, this movie's true.
But they have this sort of interesting domestic life, and
in this gorgeous house.
In this gorgeous house. and all seems fine, but it's, there's obviously a lot of stresses that happen in families.
Yeah. It felt like a normal family.
So what happens?
So they haven't had sex in 6 months because she had cancer and she feels uncomfortable, and so they're gonna like get it on.
Get it on.
And kids go to bed and they're getting it on, and this thing falls in their yard.
A meteor.
Yeah, and it's like this bright magenta,
hot pink
glowing,
magenta, yeah.
Rock. And it and the little kid, before it lands, he's scared because he hears the house creaking and stuff. So he goes into the hallway and he's trying to get to his parents' house room, and that's when the meteor hits, and he gets like, I don't know, something happens to the little kid.
Yeah, he has even like a premonition before it lands.
Yeah.
Like he's a flash, like there's a connection there. So this thing crashes down, and they go out and they see it.
They go out and see it, and the kid is not talking, like he's like in shock or something, and so they take the little kid inside, and the mom's worried. She wants to take him to the emergency room, and the dad is like, "Oh no, it's an hour away."
Yeah,
and he
that's
serves
fine.
himself a bourbon.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I mean, but that's
really weird.
Look, when this thing falls, once it lands, everything's off kilter.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, something, and it's off kilter, and really when
people react strangely after it lands.
Yes, and everyone's reacting strangely, and then the next day the news crew comes out, the police come out, the mayor of the town, who's played by Coriander, the woman who starred in Whale Rider when she was a little girl, like she's the mayor of the town.
Yeah.
She comes out.
She was in other stuff too.
Yeah.
Was she in? I recognized her.
She was in a bunch of stuff. She's Maori. She's from New Zealand. She's great, by the way. But in this movie, it's just odd that she's the mayor of the town. But that everything in this movie is off kilter. Like nothing is. There's not a lot of naturalism. But what I did like was
no verisimilitude.
No, I thought there was a lot of verisimilitude. As a matter of fact, I really liked. The location was beautiful.
Oh, it was gorgeous.
And it had a storybook quality.
It
like
did.
Even the house had sort of more of a castle feel.
The house didn't feel American at all, but
no.
It was gorgeous and I loved it.
And then what ends up happening is, and then our hydroponics expert, or whatever, our waterman, the waterman comes out and he's looking around and the older son takes him. They have a squatter on their land, and it's Tommy Chong from Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
Who's 83-year-old Tommy Chong.
And he does not look 83.
And now because he smoked a lot. He smoked a lot of the wild herb.
He's very chill.
He's in there in this nice house, but he's not like
nice
some
house.
Well, he's got like electronics, and
he built himself a little,
so he's got a bunch of stuff out
that's
there.
That's all hooked up, like it's off grid. It's got solar panels and cameras and.
But even that's off kilter. It's like, why are they letting this dude? Who is he? Like, why? It's sort of.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was in the original story.
I would let him squat. On
I
my
would
land.
too, because he's got a great place. But then this meteor melts into the ground. It like disappears, and it clearly from early on you understand plants are starting to grow, and
it doesn't disappear until there's a lightning storm, and all the lightning is like.
That's true.
The lightning wants to strike it, like it's just
over and over.
Yeah.
Or the lightning is being used by this, like there's clearly some kind of malevolent. There's an intelligence behind what's going on, and the movie does a really good job of the lightning hits and the kid's watching it as the lightning is hitting
and the little kid is now mesmerized, and he's always outside looking towards where this meteor landed, and then he hears sounds coming out of the well.
Yeah.
And so he then investigates and goes and looks into the well, and this magenta looks like a grasshopper or a
flying praying mantis
comes out of this cocoon and flies up.
And even though the thing is CG, it's a really good effect. I mean, it's close. It's really nice.
Yeah, they show its face, and it's got all these like tongues, and it's really cool, and the color is very pretty.
So, and then what happens? I mean, there's not that much of a plot. It's kind of like this slow burn.
It's very slow at the beginning, but slow, and you're kind of creeped out.
Yeah, it's really creepy.
And like, what's gonna happen?
The landscape. There's flowers. These magenta flowers, and there's vines, and a lot of weirdness is going on, and everybody's being affected in their own way.
Yeah, and the dad keeps smelling something weird, and he has these fits of anger.
And the dog gets all scared and like runs off, never to be seen again.
Yeah.
Although he is part of what the meld, they found out later. But and I think I really like this. I mean, I really liked how this unfolded, and how it was creepy and it was moody, and I think Richard Stanley did a really good job. The shot choices were great. There's a lot of really slow panning shots and creeping shots, and it really nobody acts natural now. Everybody kind of does weird stuff. Like nobody's like, we should leave. Like nobody does that.
They're all really weird.
Yeah,
they have weird reactions.
They're under the spell of whatever this is, and I think they do a really good job making it seem off kilter and weird and strange.
Yeah, and the middle child, he's like, even time is affected. It's like he was lost in the woods and he didn't know what time, and then all of a sudden it was dark, and then it was morning, and then so even time is like off in this weird color realm they're in.
Yeah, and it's getting bigger and it's expanding slowly, and they do a good job of showing us that, and things just get increasingly weirder, and the hydroponics, the hydromaster, whatever he is, he comes back and he realizes that the groundwater is contaminated. Everyone's
There's something
like,
in the water,
and like Nicolas Cage takes a shower and then he gets out and his arms have like mutated.
Yeah, he's got like weird scaly skin.
There's some kind of a weird thing is in this drain of this shower.
Yeah.
And he picks it up and like stings him.
Yeah.
So it reminded me. There's a couple of things this reminded me of, which I'm sure because this story's much older, but there's a John Skipp and Craig Spector splatterpunk novel called I have it over there. It's called The Bridge, which it was in the book. It was an ecological contamination thing, and then there was. The Crazies? Remember the remake of the Crazies, where the nerve gas gets into the water, and which is a great. That's a really great movie. The Crazies does not get enough. It does not get enough love.
Well, we should give it some love.
But the idea that this contamination has happened, and there's something really unnerving once you know that your entire environment is against you.
Yeah, and then the daughter keeps trying to get them to escape, but they just can't seem to make it happen.
No, and the phones aren't working.
And then the squatter guy, he knows like something weird is up from the beginning, and he records sounds that are under his house.
Yeah.
And that comes to play at the end of the film.
And then one night, Jolie Richardson is making dinner for the family.
Oh, right. She's making dinner, and she's chopping carrots, and she keeps chopping, and she chops off 2 of her fingers, and then
But she's clearly like in the.
She's in a trance or something. She puts her hand up. She's like, "Dinner's ready," and her fingers are gone.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. But I really thought that, and as it moves along, things get increasingly weirder.
Yeah.
There's like stuff in the well, and then the alpacas keep coming out of the barn, and they're just, you see them eating. They're eating all the flowers.
Yeah.
And you know that nothing good can come of that.
Nothing good can come of that. Nothing good.
And after this slow burn, Jolie Richardson and Nicolas Cage go to the hospital, but it seems like they're gone for days.
They go to the hospital, and then the kids are left alone, and things get even more strange. The girl feels sick, and she's constantly vomiting, and then, like, the middle child gets lost in the woods, and then the youngest child is obsessed with the well.
And Tommy Chong's cat disappears, and then we see it run across the road mutated. Oh yeah, G-Spot, the pussy named
G-Spot.
Yeah, and this movie has great creature effects.
Yeah,
I really like the creature effects. It's very It's very John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yes,
yeah, there's a lot. It's very The Thing-esque.
That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, as the movie goes along, and it's good stuff. And then so all this craziness is happening. They finally come back from the hospital. And then this energy that's in the barn,
Nicolas Cage gets pissed off because the alpacas are in the front yard, and he's accusing the kids of not taking care of things, and he's like yelling at them in his weird.
Yeah, what did you think of his? Just like in Peggy Sue Got Married, you were not happy with.
What the hell? Why does he do that? It's like he was doing a parody of himself.
But don't you think the madness had taken over?
Yeah, but he didn't have to do it like goofy. It was goofy. He was doing this goofy voice again. It was a goofy voice.
How do you tell an Academy Award-winning actor that he's being too goofy?
I think he was doing it on purpose.
No, he was doing it on purpose.
On purpose, to make fun of himself for what people were saying about some previous.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think
shit.
honestly, I think Nicolas Cage's performance was up and down. Sometimes I really liked it, and sometimes it was just too goofy.
Right?
And I wanted.
Okay, so I wasn't the only one.
No, I think that the only thing that the verisimilitude of the film was a little shaky when it came to Nicolas Cage's performance.
Yeah, what the hell?
I thought it was too much.
I could forgive him for Peggy Sue Got Married because he was so young and he was being rebellious against his uncle. But come on, this film, why did he do that?
Well, I don't know. Remember, I mean, it's a collaboration between an actor and a director. But I mean, some of it I really liked, and then sometimes I'm like, no.
Was the director like, can you do your Peggy Sue voice?
No, I don't think he was.
Yeah, maybe he was.
But I know Richard Stanley. I don't blame him. It's his first time directing a movie in 20 years. You've got an Academy Award-winning actor.
So you're afraid to tell him what to do?
Well, I think you got to if
cut
an actor
out the goofiness.
Yeah, but if an actor makes a choice, and I think. But
if it's your film, if you're directing, come on, man, grow a pair.
I think he was just happy to be there. He had, look, but just despite that, I think the movie works really well because everybody in the film has their own kind of madness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their own. I mean, even Tommy Chong is skirting the edge of parody.
True, but I believed his character more than Nicolas
No, I did
Cage.
too. I did too. But I have to say I liked it. I mean, I was really digging this movie.
I liked it too.
I
do have a few questions of things that were thrown in and why were they thrown in.
Well, it did some really cool stuff, like out of nowhere. I mean, the young boy and Jolie Richardson.
That scene. Okay, first it starts with the alpacas all being attacked in the barn.
But we don't see what's happened.
No, we don't. And then the older son takes the younger son to go see what's happening in the barn because, like, those poor alpacas are making noises. So they go to the barn, and as they're walking to the barn, the mom comes out and she calls out to her son, Jack, and he turns around, but they keep walking. And so they go into the barn, and they discover the creepiest thing ever. These poor alpacas are like
they've been fused together in
they're
some one.
melted together, and they're like they have no more hair. Oh, they're beautiful alpaca hair. Poor Gilbert.
But
alpaca.
it's great. I mean, this is when it goes. I mean, full on
they're
creature
all magenta,
feature.
and there's like magenta under their skin, and their eyes turn magenta, and they're like all crazy, and it's like this four-headed fused creature.
Right, and then they come running out.
And then
Jolie Richardson grabs her son, and they get blasted by this cosmic magenta laser plasma whatever, and just blasts out. It blasts out of the barn, presumably being launched or projected by these alpaca, whatever, these melted alpacas. Yeah, I mean the thing alpacas, and it fuses Jolie Richardson and her son together.
Yes.
Like Manitou style.
You don't even learn that until they bring them into the living room, and instead of like calling 911, of course, because nobody's reacting normally.
Well, they're all nuts. They've all gone.
They've brought them in. They're on the couch, and you don't even know what's going on yet, but you hear like weird moaning and stuff, and you see her hand like shaking, and then they pan around, and it is so grotesque. I mean, you've got the little boy like melting into his mother's back.
It was something. It was like right out of Brian Usna's movie Society. It was very like these people fused together. But the effects in here are really good. They were practical effects, and they were really good. I mean, it gets a little goofy later.
It gets goofy later.
But these
that
effects
was so creepy.
Yeah, it was really, really
and
creepy.
Her skin looks all gummy,
it's really disturbing, and I loved it. I loved
it. Very disturbing.
I mean, it made me realize, you're going. I'm sure there was some kind of computer augmentation, but I did watch the special features, and there was a lot of practical prosthetic work, and it was so nice to see that because you can tell the difference between practical effects on human beings and, I mean, unless it's like what they do with Davy Jones in Pirates of the Caribbean, which is amazing. They used CG makeup to create those crazy creatures, but this was really, really well done.
It was,
and it's really disturbing. I mean, the idea of people being fused together, it very much like
and
the
they're
thing.
Making noises, and they're like
they're
shaking
still awake,
and
and
moving
she's
around, and oh my god, she's trying to say something. It's so creepy and disturbing. So creepy.
Yeah, and it gets crazier from there.
Yeah, and then the girl does, the daughter does like another incantation.
She starts reading out of the Necronomicon, and she starts cutting herself and carving words into her.
She cut like a triangle in her forehead, and she's carving herself. And then she, comes down and finds her mother and brother all fused together.
Yeah.
And then they decide to take this fusion up to the attic.
To her office.
Because the sunlight is burning their skin. So they take them into the attic, which is her office, and put them on this mattress. And they're like writhing on this mattress, and it's just, and then
it's great. It's great. Loved it.
And then they're like, well, they don't really know what to do, so Well,
what can you do when people are fused together? It's not like
the car won't start. It's not like they can take them anywhere.
No, and this power, I mean, it's pulsating out of control, and then
Nicolas Cage is becoming more and more crazy.
And our waterman, him and the sheriff in town,
hydrologist,
somebody like a gardener or some landscape guy found a fusion of cats and creatures and birds and like very Thing-esque, and they've got it in the back of the pickup truck. So our water boy, he says hydrologist. That's it. Our hydrologist,
the hydrologist.
Our hydrologist and the sheriff head out to the.
Yes, he takes the sheriff, and they go out, and they come in, and Nicolas Cage is watching TV, and he's got a bourbon, and then they're like, where's your family? And they see he's all creepy, and he's got
And Nicolas
blood.
Cage takes his oldest daughter up and locks her in the room with the creature. He's like, go feed mother.
Well, wait, we skipped a whole part
it's
where,
okay.
Where the son ends up in the well because he thinks his dog is down there, and he goes into the well, and then he
gets consumed.
Right, and then Nicolas Cage goes crazy again and throws his daughter into the room with the creature. locks her in there, and then is sitting on the couch like nothing is happening.
Yeah, he's gone full around the bend nuts.
Yeah, so when they get there...
When the hydrologist and the sheriff get there, they hear the noise upstairs. They come running upstairs, and they find her being assaulted by the mother-son fusion creature. It's great. It's great. Loved it.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, and then of course, they go find Tommy Chong, and the trees come alive and take the sheriff out. And I mean, it's full on. We're in annihilation territory.
Yeah.
The whatever the elder gods are, whatever is
the squatter. The squatter. He's playing that recording that he made, but it's now he had translated what they were saying apparently, and he was saying how they were from outer space and that they were trying to make it so it was like where they came from. So they were trying to like terraform, basically.
Right.
And so they hear this, and that's when the sheriff gets.
Well, they run out. They head back to the house, and then it goes full on sort of 2001 conflagration craziness. The girl becomes a conduit. You know, Nicolas Cage. He shoots the fusion creature, and then it just goes full on.
He shoots her in the head. And then he shoots his son, who's still alive.
It's
on her
hardcore.
back.
I mean,
and then he walks out and he's like, "That's not my family."
Yeah, I liked all this. I mean,
I did too.
I haven't seen a low budget horror science fiction movie in a long time that I was thoroughly enjoying as much as I was enjoying this.
Except for Nicolas Cage weird.
Yeah, but
shit.
I went with it.
Know.
I mean, I was thoroughly enjoying this. I thought the mood. I thought what it was trying to do. Like if I saw this movie in 1984, I would have thought, oh my God, this goes right to the top of the pantheon of just it was. But I liked, and then what was really interesting is at the end, when all hell is breaking loose and the magenta mind storm or whatever is consuming everything, you get a glimpse through the Livonia's memory. You see like the home planet, like there's this great image where you see that,
because she kind of like becomes one with them. She's standing in front of the well and she becomes one. And then that's when you see this vision of their
and
their
it's
planet.
it's really cool. I mean, full on surreal, this explosion of imagery and the eldritch fires or whatever it is. I mean, it's
and then the hydrologist is basically the only one left at that point, and somehow Nicolas Cage comes back alive and
it's chasing him, and he goes and hides the hydrologist.
Hides in the basement, which is where all their wine is, and and everything explodes. The wine explodes, and then everything around them just explodes.
Yeah, I mean the whole whatever this energy is, it explodes like a nuclear bomb or something, and it takes. And that was, I have to say. And then the movie sort of ends with a hydrologist standing over this new reservoir that's been built.
Right.
Presumably over that spot.
Right.
And he's like, I'm not going to drink this water. And I'm like, this is the most significant...
But it's like 25 years later.
Yeah, it's 20... He's much older. And I that was the only thing about this movie that disappointed me. I kind of wanted it to have like an ending like Lucio Fulci's The Beyond, where you see these two characters walking off into what is presumably... hell or something, and it kind of ends that way. I didn't like.
I agree. I was wondering, so they did all this, they're terraforming, and then they just explode, and then that's the it. That's it. That's the end. After they kill his family, they just explode, and then it's over.
I mean, I would have liked to have had it much
that
more.
That didn't make sense to me.
I wanted it to be an end of the world scenario
because they were winning. It was like they had taken over this huge chunk of land.
Yeah.
They were winning.
Yeah, I wanted to see some horrible apocalyptic ending. Like,
so what made them explode? Nobody knows.
Yeah, I mean that was the one thing.
That was weird. There were two things for me. It was that.
But that didn't. I mean, look, while it didn't quite stick the landing, it didn't bother me that much. I mean, I would love to have had the whole world consumed by this thing. I mean, make it an end of the world, or he comes out of the basement and he's standing in this ashen where the ground zero was, and it would have been great if he looks up and he just sees magenta meteorites all falling to Earth all over, like in the distance.
They could have tied it in with her Wiccan. Like, there was no reason for her to be Wiccan. I kept expecting something to happen, like witches would come and like save them, or Satan would come and just.
But that's not. I mean, Lovecraft. He's always
but
talking
it
about
didn't make sense. Why did he include the Wiccan stuff and then
It's-
do nothing with it?
It seemed to me like that might have been a subplot that was expanded upon that got cut out of the movie and during editorial.
They should not have cut it out, because then it was like, what was the point?
There are deleted scenes on the disc that we didn't look at.
Well, they should have used that. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's a deleted scene as to why the whole thing exploded and why it was over just like that.
Well, yeah, that's that's the only thing. I mean, a movie like this seemed to. It should have ended with the end of the world. That's some apocalyptic ending where
Or tied into
these
the Wiccan
old
things.
gods or whatever. Earth is completely terraformed and there's nothing we can do because the threat is so dire that it didn't seem like they should be defeated. Nobody defeated them.
Right. There was nothing had happened that would cause them to not win. Why did they just explode?
Well, yeah, I don't know. That seemed counterproductive. Like the rest of the land should be infected.
I think it has something to do with the Wiccan stuff.
Okay, well. So what did you think of this movie, Elizabeth?
I liked it, except for those few things. 3 things. The Wiccan thing, there was no tie-in. And the way it ended, exploded for no reason. And Nicolas Cage, weirdness. His weirdness.
Nah, it was funny because the rest of the movie, the build was so slow and everything was.
It was slow, but then when
the movie wasn't slow, but the way it was really building the tension.
Yeah, in the first part.
I would like him to have been more subtle like everyone else is, and gone really totally off kilter, but
yeah, because when he starts doing his weird shit, it's like out of the blue, and it's like, whoa, there was no subtlety to it. It didn't yeah.
So what did you think of this movie, though, other than those points? I mean, I really enjoyed it.
Overall, I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was really well done. I liked the off-kilter, in a way.
And it was beautiful. All the magenta and the purple.
It was beautiful.
And
the cinematography was gorgeous. The location was gorgeous.
Yeah, the location was, whew.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was one of the better... I like movies like this anyway. Mm-hmm. So it was... I mean, I liked it better than Annihilation. We saw that Natalie Portman... I thought Annihilation...
Oh, yeah, with all the colors and all that.
Yeah, this reminded me of that.
Yeah.
But I liked this better.
Yeah,
actually.
Me too.
Just because it had more visceral thrills in it. Like, even though Annihilation had creatures and everything, I thought when this got ramped up and all the craziness happened, it went for it. Like, I wasn't let down by there was the creature effects and
plus the Annihilation is a little more serious.
And then at the end, of course, the flying mantis still exists. It's still there. It flies after.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, the hydrologist as he walks away.
Oh,
you see the
notice.
So it's still there. I mean, now that they've built the reservoir, presumably, you could, I guess, a reading of the movie could be that now that the reservoir's there and you see the thing, it's just biding its time. It's waiting
for someone to drink the water.
Yeah, it'll infect the whole world. I mean, you could look at it that way if you wanted to. I just wanted more. I wanted more of a punch, more of a kick.
Yeah, I think the ending was weird.
A little bit. All right, well, we have letters. Would you like to hear a letter?
Yes, I would.
This letter comes from one of our moderators,
okay.
Robert Priso. Evening, Elizabeth and Rob.
Hello.
Since you don't get a lot of letters for whining about movies, I wanted to share with you my thoughts about it. Uh-oh. I really enjoy the show, and it's something I look forward to. The first reason, the chemistry that you two have on camera.
Aww.
The discussion ranges from thought-provoking, highly charged, comical, and even the occasional rant. I'll never think of Last Crusade or Brick the same way ever again. The thing they all show, the passion you both have for movies and stories. The second reason, the films you choose. One of the comments I've heard Liz say is being concerned about picking movies that no one wants to hear about. You have a good balance. It's like comfort food. Beecher's mac and cheese. To hear your shared views of popular movies Back to the Future, it's equally stimulating, dare I say more, to hear the passion you have about Sing Street. Even if only one person watching the show goes and seeks out that movie, you've accomplished your goal. You've encouraged them to look outside their wheelhouse and expand their horizons. This is like the nicest letter I've ever read. That's awesome. At the core of what WINEning is all about. To listen to that story that you have yet to hear. I see what you did there. Since this show has started, I've purchased or watched Jaws, Brotherhood of the Wolf, Brazil, War of the Worlds, Inception, and Night of the Hunter. Wow. I've rewatched Her, The Abyss, Excalibur, Logan's Run, The Elephant Man, and Life Force. On my viewing list, Amelie, Sing Street, Atonement, AI, Kind Hearts and Coronets, The Fisher King, and even Crash. To close, I'd like to recommend a few for consideration. Somewhere in Time, Dark Passage, you should watch Crash. Charade, Rope, Mandy, which is the movie the producers made before this with The Platform, which we should watch, the Spanish film. Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which is hilarious.
I don't think
love that.
I've seen any of those.
Thanks for all you do. It continues to spark my passion for movies, and also the reason I asked to become a moderator. We're simply the best space on the internet.
Aww.
Be seeing you.
Liz
needs a Z. Hashtag Liz needs a Z.
Somebody make me a Z.
Well, Mr. Priso, cheers to you, sir.
Yes,
thanks for moderating.
You so much. What a
Very
great
much
letter.
appreciated. And Liz, hashtag Liz needs a Z.
Yep. Liz needs
I love how people just call you Liz now.
Yeah.
LYS is good.
Just like Dave.
Just like Dave. Oh, that was a great letter. Thank you for that. We also have another letter. Another letter comes from Ian. Ian Samuels wrote a letter to WINEning About Movies.
Cool.
Elizabeth and Rob. So, Color, because he's in Britain. Color Out of Space as H.P. Lovecraft was American. I will accept the American spelling. 2019 movie Color Out of Space based on the H.P. Lovecraft short story of the same name, adapted for the screen and directed by Richard Stanley. What can I say about Color Out of Space? Well, I've had it for a while, but not gotten around to watch it. So when Rob announced that it would be the subject of tonight's WINEning About Movies, it gave me the impetus necessary to get around to watching it.
Good.
Well, what can I say? About fucking time. Considering the story was first published in 1927, so it has taken nearly a century to get a decent Lovecraft adaptation. There have been a number of low-budget efforts, particularly during the 80s, but nothing groundbreaking. Of course, the best Lovecraftian horror is John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness, but wasn't directly based on a Lovecraft piece, just inspired by his work. Color Out of Space has the perfect Lovecraftian mix of horror, sci-fi, eerie mystery, suspense, body horror, and of course, the descent into madness. I first read Lovecraft when I was about 10, and it was a fantastic journey into an insane world that I fell in love with. And other than John Carpenter's The Thing and In the Mouth of Madness, 1981's The Beyond, and 1985's Reanimator, I've been disappointed. Until now, finally we had an excellent Lovecraft movie. Well done, Richard Stanley. I'm also glad that this wasn't made by an American studio and was instead a Portuguese one. No offense to Americans, but you movie studios interfere and in many cases ruin movies. This movie, if done by an American studio, would have been ruined by a happy, upbeat ending. Stanley managed to find backers and a studio that let him make his movie.
Well, it did have an upbeat. It had a positive ending.
Well, they all died. They all got consumed.
They all died, but the aliens didn't take over the world.
Well, that's true. Yet.
They exploded.
Color Out of Space presently has 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. Personally, I think that undervalues this perfect Lovecraftian movie. And the best news, Stanley said it was the first of a Dunwich trilogy. Oh. Bring it on, Stanley. Bring it on. Based on this effort, I, for one, want more.
Trilogy, and there's going to be more of this story?
No, he'll probably do other stories.
Other stories.
Yeah. Which I would love to see.
Yeah, could be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't... if you use Nicolas Cage, rein him in.
Rein him in.
Rein him in.
We've got people are sending in super chats and things. Let's go back. I'm gonna say Willows. Those are WINEing About movies. Those are Robservations, so I'm not gonna read those. But I will read. Claudius said, "Bonjour, Monsieur Robert. Writing to you from my secret location. Please don't tell COVID where I am." I missed the Tyson Holyfield, Elizaviews from last night.
Nice.
I like that, Claude.
Nice.
I like drinking champagne.
Thanks for the champagne.
Julius Goodwin is here, sends in a tip and says, I won't be up too much longer, but I wanted to ask if the books I sent arrived okay, if at all. If
yes.
I hope they'll be of some use and you both enjoy them. What books is he referring to?
Wow. Okay, so for 3 days in a row, I received one at a time books about making wine.
Making wine.
It was pretty amazing.
From Julius. He also sent us wine that hasn't got here yet.
Wow. Thank you so much. These books are super cool.
Yeah, they are super cool. Now we want to run out. Just knowing you're like, well, let's go get vines. Let's start.
Let's start.
Let's start making our
we have
wine.
a yard. We could totally put some vines back there.
Pinot Noir.
Come on, man.
Why don't we vine up the vegetable garden and get rid of our giant sunflowers?
Yeah, and all the other weird stuff growing in there.
Yeah, the color out of space garden that we have.
It's true.
We stopped tending
really
it.
is.
It became color out of space.
It's very alien-like in there.
It's very alien-like. Very much so.
But some vines in there would be nice.
It's true. It is true. So thank you very much for that, Julius.
Thank you.
Stephen Foley says, the car scene is Cage at his finest. Laugh out loud. Yeah, he was peak Cage madness there.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty nutty. Timbula the Spider Monkey's here. Tim says, I love the story, The Color Out of Space. I hold it above Call of Cthulhu, At the Mountains of Madness, or Herbert West Reanimator, which I also love. This film is so different from the story, I would imagine it would have to be, but still manages to capture the feel, otherworldly and odd. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I mean, I really liked the tone of it. It was good.
Yeah, it was.
By the way, my girlfriend loved it until the mother-son blob monster turns up.
Right.
Then she checked out.
Oh, it's so disturbing.
Not that she doesn't like that kind of thing in her movies. She just thought it felt forced. Like someone on set said, well, there needs to be a monster.
Oh, no, I thought they
So they made one.
Oh, it was so creepy.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was definitely earned, too, because
especially when you first see them fused together.
And he's communing with them. Like, the kid's communing. He's like, I'm talking to the man in the well.
Yeah. It's so creepy when you first see them on the couch all fused together and she's all pasty and ugh.
Yeah. The Richard sent in a super chat and said, they set this up for a trilogy. Absolutely. Also, we have Lovecraft Country on HBO Max. That's a new HBO series, Lovecraft Country, which looks really good. And more. This is the year of Lovecraft. Every year is the year of Lovecraft. I love my Lovecraft.
Is there more champagne?
Yes, would you like some more champagne, dear? Please allow me. Look at you, down in the champagne.
These flutes are small.
They are small.
Thank you.
So Tim goes on to say, hang on, let me pour myself some. Tim goes on to say, I thought the implication of the ending was that the site was now under the water of the reservoir. The infection of the land and family would spread to everyone who drinks from this well or water. Overall, I liked it, but very different to the short story. I would imagine. See, I got that too, but I'm like,
yeah, if they drink the water.
But of course
then...
they're going to drink the water. It's so silly.
Like,
I mean, how long did it take them to build that reservoir and fill it with water? Like nobody. The sheriff was dead. I mean, what happened up there would be puzzled over. The authorities would look at it like...
Plus, you couldn't keep the animals from drinking it. The animals would definitely drink it. And we know it affects animals, so...
Yeah, but I mean, it's like 20 years later no one's drank it. Like, apparently...
No, what I'm saying is in those 20 years, there definitely would be animals that would drink it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sebastian Sanhueza? Hueza?
I can't see.
Sebastian, your favorite name.
My favorite name.
Hey, Liz and Rob, The Void 2016 is a pretty cool Lovecraftian film. I like The Void. You know, I gotta get The Void. I like The Void.
Did I see that?
No. Why doesn't it get a little bit more love? You know, I think The Void is just little seen. The Void is a really great... It's another low-budget movie, one location that is very Lovecraftian. I liked it a lot. I don't own The Void. I should get The Void. I like that movie. I watched it on... Did you watch Baskin with me, the Turkish horror movie?
Oh my God, yes. That was so disturbing.
If you guys haven't seen... I don't know if it's on Netflix anymore, but if you guys haven't seen... John Schnepp told me to watch it.
Yeah.
John Schnepp said, you gotta watch this movie.
We watched it together.
Yeah, we watched it together. It's a Turkish horror film called Baskin, Baskin and Robbins. Don't read anything if you don't know the movie. If you've never heard of it,
it's
yes. And you're at the first 10 minutes, you're gonna be like, "Why did they tell us to watch this?" If you haven't seen
Yeah.
it and don't know anything about it, it's called Baskin. It's
it gets
Turkish.
Weird. It gets really
Yeah,
weird.
you gotta watch it. You gotta watch
Yeah.
it. I mean, if you like Color Out of Space and you like The Void and you like stuff like that, you gotta watch Baskin.
But even more weird than that. Even more weird than that.
It's Clive Barker-esque, little Hellraiser in there. I mean, it.
Yeah, there's some Hellraiser.
You gotta watch Baskin. And Robert brought up The Platform. That's another movie that people should watch.
I haven't seen that.
No, but it's on Netflix. It's a Spanish horror film. It will remind you of Cube. Have you seen Cube?
Have I?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Cube's 20 years old. I don't know if you saw it. Or Cube 2, Hypercube. Yeah, so Sebastian, I don't know why it doesn't get more love.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. So let me ask you, do you have anything to say? I mean, I'm just checking in. I won't say anything. Referring back to our Friday show, our knockdown, drag-out fight.
Yeah. So I thought about it a lot, and I did have a lot to say.
Why don't you set it up a little bit? Like, if you saw our last Elizabeths about La La Land, I got a little heated. We got into it. We basically almost broke up, you know? But, yeah, we got into it. Had a little bit of an altercation.
Yeah, we
and
did.
I figured,
You were very passionate about what you were saying about their argument.
I was very... I related to that situation.
Yeah, you were insisting that the way you saw it was the correct way.
Which it was. But, I mean, hey... if you're going to say something, I won't say anything. You don't have to.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. We can always...
I just didn't see the argument the same way you did.
All right.
And I didn't get to say that.
Okay.
I tried because I was yelling at you.
Yeah, it's fine. It all works out in the end. It all works out in the end. So, coming back to this movie, I really liked this film a lot in the sense that I wish we got more of these movies, because I think horror and science fiction, especially low budget horror, there's so many. It's like Blumhouse has cornered the market on ghost stories like Paranormal Activity and The Conjuring, and ghost stories are.
Hey, don't bash on The Conjuring.
I love The Conjuring. I love The Conjuring. I love the Insidious movies. I really do.
Insidious movies are the best.
And James Gunn is the master of the jump scare. Nobody can mount a jump scare better than James Wan can.
If you ever hear someone shrieking in a movie theater, like seriously shrieking.
Yeah, well, James Wan has a movie coming out called Malignant.
Oh.
That I want to see. I mean, any movie just called Malignant, I'm in.
Well.
If there's body horror, I don't know what it's about.
If it's like Insidious 2, where I got to tell him my favorite part of that movie.
You did. You got to meet James Wan at a party at Charlie de Lazarica's house.
Yeah, and you were like, tell him your favorite part. Tell him. So
he loved that.
In Insidious 2, when she's running up the stairs and the baby's crying and you hear... slap! I was like, that ghost slapped that baby!
Well, you're a mother.
I couldn't believe it.
By the way, James Wan, nice guy, but he's a really nice guy. He loved hearing that. He loved it. He loved it. Loved hearing it.
Yeah, he was chuckling.
Candida's here. Hola, Robert and Elizabeth. According to the IMDb, The Color Out of Space is filmed in... Sintra. Sintra is a very famous and beautiful tourist destination. We've been to the Palacio de Peña and Castelos dos Moros, which is just a few miles away from this house.
We have to go there.
We do have to go there.
Could we Airbnb that house? Do you think it's on Airbnb?
I don't know. It probably is now.
Can you hook that up?
I
want to stay in that house.
I don't know Portuguese. So maybe
we have Candida.
Google Translate. Yeah, Candida can look on it. I mean, I've wanted to go to Portugal for forever.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've been to Spain 5 times and I never got over to Portugal.
Yes, I haven't been to.
There's a couple of great film festivals in Portugal. I mean, they don't probably want Americans there right now, but
well, we can't go anywhere
like
right now.
nobody does.
That's
nobody
so sad.
does. But that's, I mean, I would love to see that, Candida, because, man, that location was absolutely spectacular.
It was so
spectacular.
Beautiful. I want to live there.
Well, it's beautiful. Yeah, Julius is here. He's back. Well, speak of the devil, that wine order... wait, that's wrong. Well, speak of the devil, that wine order I sent you is shipping tomorrow. I just received a notification. How weird a coincidence is that?
Well, thank you.
Well, it's just serendipity.
Perfect, because then we'll have wine for Wednesday.
I don't think it'll get here by Wednesday.
It shipped out. Well, it depends where it's coming from.
I think it's coming from Washington. Might. I don't know. The Richard goes on and says, we will have a Zoom watch party tomorrow after Robservations of this film. Also, there are at least 4 films on this story. There's movies like I think The Curse is one. They've adapted this story before because it's in the public domain.
Oh.
I think Lovecraft is in the public domain. I think so.
Interesting.
All right. Well, we are basically at our hour.
We are.
So we have our bottoms up scale, and we have champagne today, but we have champagne. But if we had wine glasses, tell everybody what the bottoms up scale is.
The bottoms up scale is from 1 to 4 wine glasses because there are 4 glasses of wine in a bottle.
There's more than 4 glasses of champagne in a bottle, though.
Yeah.
If you put them in champagne flutes.
Flutes are.
All right. So Elizabeth, on a scale of 1 to 4 glasses of wine, what would you rate the color out of space?
I would rate it 2.75 because of the 3 issues that I had with it.
I'm going to give it 3 glasses of wine. I thought it was a great watch. And I thought, again, did this movie succeed in doing what it set out to do? And I think it did. I think it absolutely did. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I found it engrossing. I like the effects.
Yeah.
I like, even though it was sort of weird and off kilter in terms of performances and Nicolas Cage, I did enjoy it a great deal.
You know what I would like for someone to be like, snap out of it.
Well, there somebody was, and that was Cher, and that was in Moonstruck.
Yes.
In what, 88?
And they should have done that to him in this movie.
But they didn't. They should have, yes. John is here. John says, on Friday night you should do a series, Movies We Disagree On. Delightful show because it was honest. Cheers. Ooh. See,
Fridays are our romantic movie night.
Right, and we can't start out with a disagreement. Like if we were gonna, and by the way, we don't necessarily know.
When we go into a movie, we don't know if we're gonna disagree or not.
Yeah, like we don't talk about it afterwards. Like I ask her, "What do you think of that?" And she's like, "We'll wait and see on the show."
Yeah, I save it. Usually, I save it for the show, and so mostly we do not know what each other's gonna say.
We don't.
Although I'm sure there are times that you can tell my reaction. Or when I really don't like something, I will be talking about it during the entire film.
Right. Now, we were going to do the right thing, but we're pushing that for our special guest. So
Okay.
what did I say? I said we're doing Color Out of Space.
You had picked something.
I did pick something. I don't remember what it was.
I don't either. Does anyone remember?
I don't remember.
But Friday, I had picked Rocky.
Rocky. Well, you're going to keep that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Friday's Rocky. I'm not
Friday's
sure
Rocky.
what Wednesday is. What did I say? I don't remember.
You said something. You said something cool.
I know.
It was something somebody suggested.
Yeah, it was something somebody suggested. By the way, I've been given some more nicknames.
How can you remember them all?
I was given another nickname. The Pharaoh of Physical Media.
That's a good one.
The Pharaoh of Physical Media, and then there was one more, and I don't remember what it was. I wrote it down, though. The Pharaoh of Physical Media.
Well, I have 2, and that's enough.
Yeah. By the way, this film, one of the production companies was Ace.
Yes, I made this film.
It was Ace. Doc Savage is here. I didn't get a chance to watch tonight's movie because I spent the weekend watching the Conjuring movie universe, and you're talking about them as I type.
Yes.
I'm a big fan.
What'd you think? I love those. I love those movies.
James Wan is making an Annabelle. He's making an Annabelle Instagram movie. Like, what's Annabelle doing during quarantine?
You're kidding. I have to see that.
It was cute. It was cute.
You saw it?
Yeah, it's on like Instagram.
I have to see that.
It's pretty cute. Check that out.
That Annabelle story creeps me out.
Annabelle Creation. The second one's better than the first one.
It creeps me out.
Yeah, it's
I've
good.
seen both of them.
Claudius is back. Fame. That's what we're doing. We're right. In honor of Alan Parker, thank you, John. We are doing Fame on Wednesday. That's exactly what we're doing.
Fame.
I want to live forever. I want to learn how to fly. Hi.
Yeah.
Dogs in the Yard. So good.
And then we're doing Adrian.
Yeah, so we're doing Alan Parker's Fame on Wednesday. That's our next movie. Claudius says, Bonjour, mon ami. I think your views on La La Land represent the dilemma of that movie and of many relationships. At its heart, I think La La Land did its job touching the both of you very deeply.
It did.
Yes, Rob, many men worry about making money. Yes, we do.
Yeah, but he projected that onto her, and that's why she got upset. Because she felt like he gave up his dream, and she did not ask him to do that. And of course she knew that he had to work to save up money, but what he didn't do was say, look, honey, I'm only doing this for a few years so that I can open up my club. But no, she felt like he gave up on that and just was accepting his fate of being in this band. Whether that's what he meant or not, that is how she took it.
All right.
And that is how I took it.
Okay. Roberto Suarez is here. Roberto says, I was pleasantly surprised by this film. Did you know the story had been previously adapted in 2010, directed by Han Vu? Maybe a comparison is in order. By the way, your cinnamon taffy is on its way. Roberto Suarez went to Bruce's Candy Kitchen yesterday. Or today.
Wow.
He was having a bonfire on the beach, like on Cannon Beach last night, with his son.
The what?
Yeah.
You're spoiled.
So are you.
Yeah, I am.
See, there you go. Well, that is good to know, Roberto. Yeah, it has been. I forgot about that recent one. It's been adapted like 5 times in different incarnations or something like that. Well, that is good to know. And by the way, thank you so much. As everyone knows, cinnamon saltwater taffy from Bruce's Candy Kitchen is my favorite candy in the world. And people are like, oh, I'll get you some cinnamon. No. I don't want saltwater taffy from anywhere else. It's only cinnamon saltwater taffy specifically from Bruce's Candy Kitchen in Cannon Beach.
You're such a snob about everything.
You don't
You're a
don't
snob
understand.
about toys, you're a snob about books, you're a snob about movies, you're a snob about your candy. The Haribo and the saltwater taffy, like, come on, man.
I don't understand why it's snobby to like what you like.
Yet for food, you're not very
I like good food.
What's the word?
Look, I love to sit down to a great meal, but if I have to, during the day, if you just give me a bagel and a single slice of cheddar cheese, I can take the bagel and put the cheddar cheese on top of the bagel without even cutting it. Walk away.
Cut the bagel
I can walk
in
away
half.
and eat it, and I'm
He puts
good.
the cheese on top and just puts it in the toaster.
I don't even put it in the toaster a lot of the time. No,
so
it's
dry.
It's not. It's great. Love it. Since I was a kid, I did that. It's my on-the-go meal.
Anyway.
We digress.
And I always say, like, put your food on a plate. Like, you'll just eat it out of the
she doesn't
package.
understand. Like, I will make soup
You have to put
in a pot.
And drink it and eat it out of the pot.
And I will take the pot off the stove and eat the soup out of the pot. Like,
No,
why?
You need to respect your food.
But why?
Put
why?
it in a beautiful container and have a silver spoon or fork and eat it and enjoy it.
Why
and
create
enjoy the
more-
whole experience.
I do. I like a giant pot right off the stove, sprinkling in the seasoning, maybe some peppers, maybe whatever, a little garlic powder, whatever it is. You put it in there and you sit down and you eat it out of that bowl. Why do you have to pour it into another bowl so you now have 2 bowls you have to clean?
Because you're going to sit down and you're going to eat it slowly and enjoy it, and you're going to enjoy the company you're with.
Well, yeah, but usually when I make soup, it's for myself, so there's no company except Gilbert or Tallulah. And
Who are begging for your
begging
food.
for food. Anyway, we're we're Claudia sends in another tip and says, plenty of places nicer than a house complete with a pool and a view of the castles to stay in, it's Sintra, right?
Ooh.
There's also a special medieval castle and town to the north of Sintra named Obidos. Obidos. Plenty of stuff to see there. Well, let's go.
Well, when COVID's under control, we are so going.
Mm.
We are
I'd
so
love to go to
going.
Portugal and hang out, like, to go for like 10 days or something.
Let's go.
Not just go for like a day.
Let's go make a movie there.
I'd love to make a movie there. Go make a Lovecraft movie like Dagon. I think they shot that in Portugal. Stuart Gordon.
Or something else.
Claudia says, Rob, food like a movie deserves the right setting and beautiful company. Well, I always have beautiful company. So, I like good food. I like good restaurants. I do.
He's picky.
Come on, man. Anyway, I think we should end this show now.
I think so too.
I have a podcast I have to do at 8:30.
What?
I know. I do.
Oh.
Podcast.
No.
Yeah, I have to. I do. It's true. I do.
What are we gonna do about dinner?
I don't know. We could go get it. I mean, anyway, why don't we talk about this later? So, we are now going to end episode 61 of Eliz Views. We'll be back on Wednesday with Alan Parker's 1980 film Fame. That I love.
And then Rocky.
And then Rocky on Friday. So, Elizabeth, why don't you take us out? First of all, no, not yet. I want to thank our moderating staff. There's a lot here. Mr. Derringer, Robert Priso, the Richard. I don't know if anyone else is here. Is anyone else here? I want to thank you guys for moderating. I want to thank Mike Bodden. I want to thank Greg Smith. I want to thank Haynock whenever he comes. He's not here. And I want to thank everybody for generously supporting the channel in all the ways you do. And remember, if you want to have a letter read or you want to send us a video like Dieter did, you can go to the Burnettwork.net website, our website of all things Burnettwork. It's being revamped of late. Mike Bodden is souping it up. You can also, all the letters that people have sent us wind up on that website. There's over 1,000 pieces of content you can read and explore and throw your 2 cents in. And there's also the Imagination Connoisseur Gallery. If there's something you want to put up there, like your movie collection or artwork you've done, please do so, and all of that. So, thank you very much. Burnettwork.net. So now, what do you think? Take us out?
Yes. Everyone you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear.
That you have yet to hear.
And all you have to do is listen.
All you have to do is listen. And with that,
have a better night.
Have a better night. By the way, I will be back on the John Campea show tomorrow, and Robservations returns at 2. Bye-bye.